The Philippines has once again filed a diplomatic protest against China. According to Foreign Affairs spokesperson Teresita Daza, 4 protests have been filed by the country against China in 2024 as of Wednesday, January 24. However, the Department of Foreign Affairs has yet to detail what prompted the filing of the latest note verbal on Wednesday. The Philippine Coast Guard recently reported the harassment of Filipino fishermen by China Coast Guard personnel in Scarborough Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela, earlier said it was up to the DFA to decide if the latest incident in Scarborough Shoal would merit diplomatic action. The 2016 arbitral ruling classified Scarborough Shoal as a traditional fishing ground that should be shared with neighboring countries such as China and Vietnam. But Beijing rejects the ruling, asserting its sweeping claim over nearly the entire South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea. Senate Minority Leader Koko Pimentel sees a justiciable controversy to file cases against the Commission on Elections for receiving signatures from a people's initiative to amend the 1987 Constitution. Comelec Chair George Garcia earlier said the agency's acceptance of the signature pages was only a part of its ministerial duty under Resolution number 10650. Pimentel questioned such ministerial duty, claiming the Commission does not even know who they owe this alleged duty to. Asked where the cases could be lodged, Pimentel said the cases may be filed before the Comelec or Supreme Court. Pimentel first aired such an opinion after the Senate released a manifesto against the People's Initiative on Tuesday, January 23. All 24 senators signed the manifesto. On the Senate floor, the minority leader said a justiciable controversy emerged for the upper chamber to act against the Comelec. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri responded positively to Pimentel's remarks, saying they will file it together. The Department of the Interior and local government has no information on whether or not International Criminal Court investigators are already finished with their probe and evidence gathering in the country. In a palace briefing, Interior Secretary Benjamin Abalos Jr. was asked for a comment on reports that the ICC investigators have already completed their probe into the previous administration's war on drugs.
As far as our office is concerned, the DILG, I have no knowledge about this. There's no communication with them, nothing at all.
When asked to comment on President Bongbong Marcos's directive on government officials to not answer should ICC representatives try to contact them, Abalos only said that he would follow the lead of the president. In an ambush interview on Monday, Marcos stood firm that the government will not lift a finger to assist the ICC's probe on the war on drugs, saying it has no jurisdiction over the Philippines. Senator Bato, Dela Rosa admits he is afraid of going to jail, anxious that he may not see his grandchildren if it happens. His remarks come as speculations abound that investigators of the International Criminal Court are already in the Philippines. In a television interview, Dela Rosa was asked why he is concerned about reports that ICC investigators have already started probing in the country. The senator then questioned who would not be afraid of going to jail. According to Dela Rosa, he was not scared because he was guilty, pointing out that not all those imprisoned are guilty. He said he was concerned he would no longer see his grandchildren if he were jailed, especially if he would end up imprisoned in The Hague. The ICC had launched a probe into the drug war of former President Rodrigo Duterte's administration. Dela Rosa, who was head implementer as the former police chief, is among the respondents in the Crimes Against Humanity complaint before the ICC. The Legal Counsel of Sunshine Media Network International says the National Telecommunications Commission's order to indefinitely suspend the operations of the network's radio and television stations is unconstitutional. In a television interview, SMNI lawyer Mark Tolentino said the NTC suspension order against the network violates the Constitution as it affects freedom of the press or freedom of expression. Tolentino also insisted SMNI complied with its 30-day suspension, saying all of the radio and TV stations were not in operation during that period. NTC earlier said SMNI was still operating in certain areas in Western Visayas, even after the network was issued a 30-day suspension order on December 21 last year. The administrative case of SMNI stemmed from House Resolution number 1499, which pointed out the network's violations against the terms and conditions of its franchise under Republic Act number 11422. The resolution's principal author, PBA Party List Representative Margarita Nograles, stressed that Section 4 of SMNI's legislative franchise prohibits the network from utilizing its stations or facilities to disseminate misleading information. An Israel Defense Forces soldier of Filipino descent was among those killed in a massive explosion amid Israel-Hamas conflict. In a statement, the Embassy of Israel in the Philippines identified the Filipino soldier as Sergeant First Class Cedric Garin, who was one of 21 IDF soldiers killed in Gaza on January 22. According to the embassy, both of Garin's parents are Filipinos. The tension between Israel and Palestine grew on October 7, 2023, following an unprecedented attack by military group Hamas. According to the Department of Foreign Affairs, 4 Filipino civilians have died amid the war.